Everybody knows whales don't have legs, right? Except it turns out they sort of still do. Whales still have hip bones and some tiny little vestigial femurs as well. Now, the term vestigial we use to refer to features that are no longer serving a function. They're not really serving a purpose and they've been drastically reduced. In whales, they're not really using those hips to get around anymore, right? They are part of a larger group called the artiodactyls, which include things like the bison, the camel, and the deer. The closest relatives are hippos, right? But they are more closely related to something, say, like a bison than they are to, say, something like an elephant, which might surprise some folks. So obviously, whales aren't using their back legs. They don't really have legs on the exterior of the body. They don't even have exterior rear fins or flippers. But they do still have those hip bones, and I hesitate to call them vestigial because they do still serve a purpose. Even if they're not walking around with them, these pelvic bones actually do still work to anchor whale genitalia. So if we want baby whales, whale hip bones are very important. Now, obviously, again, like I said, they're not using the little vestigial femurs to get around. They're not getting any propulsion from their hips, but they are still propelling themselves around primarily using their tails. So I have here a caudal vertebra, right? A backbone essentially from the tail of a whale. It's more like 5 or 6 million years old. So this is a long way divorced from their earlier artiodactyl ancestors, things like Pachycetus, which was living more than 50 million years ago in places like Pakistan, that were walking around occasionally on land using their forelegs. But this guy is propelling himself entirely using this tail. I always love to mention this is actually from a juvenile whale, right? This is from an unfused epiphysis. This is where the growth plate was, more or less. This individual, while very large, is not fully grown when something came along and basically got rid of its ability to move, right? That there is not a normal groove, that is a very pronounced bite mark from the megalodon shark. So 5-6 million years ago, when this one was swimming around in the ocean, it had some very large predators. Megalodon here actually probably went extinct while these guys survived, in part due to changes in ocean temperature. So these guys really needed warm water. Turns out whales are just fine in cold water. That's what all that blubber is for.